Good morning, guys. How are you all doing? Apologies for the sound in last night's video. I did forget to adjust the setting again, but it should be all okay for this one. So yeah, this is our Bitcoin morning update. So we are gonna go over to those charts. There we go. Start with the DMT Dominator this morning. Dominator took its sell trade. Took another sell just before this dump, so that was obviously a very good signal. Obviously had a little buy here, which pretty much would have stopped out here for a small loss, and a sell here, which would have stopped out for a small loss. A buy here, which would have stopped out for a slightly bigger loss, but then a sell there that would have got you a big gain. So obviously big gain, small loss, small loss, small loss, bigger gain. So yeah, that's kind of how you want to trade. Big gains and small losses, even if you end up having more small losses, which you often will. That's the best way to trade. If you're having lots of small losses and then big gains that basically beat those losses overall, then you know you're doing something right. Also, DMT is creeping up on this buy trade. So creeping up, we're ever so close to closing above here, triggering a buy. So yeah, we've got that to look out for. Last DMT sell trade was there. So what is at the moment from sell to buy on DMT is a 5% gain. Obviously that's with no leverage. 10x leverage, 50% gain. Hey, not too bad. And then our last buy to sell. If we took it from just buy to sell, from here to here was yeah, nearly 1.75%. We'll call it nearly a 2% gain. I mean, you would have probably taken some profits on that move straight up there, to be honest. Obviously when you get profits quick, you're obviously more inclined to take them. But yeah, nice move down here as well. Nice move. So DMT is pretty much my favorite. Dominator can give you some false signals, but it does get you in the trades early when obviously the moves do come. So you can see, well, not in this case actually. DMT got you in the buy, well, roughly about the same time, but here it got you short. It got you short up here when this sort of trend was exhausting. Not well before. I mean, that's clearly an exaggeration, but well before DMT got you in. And then also here, actually, if we do turn upwards here and have a bit of a test upwards, DMT is going to get you in the trade first, but DMT is the one that I'd recommend. DMT is the main one. I have noticed some other people using basically an indicator that's becoming pretty popular, that they are selling for a lot more than what DMT is, and that indicator is basically DMT. It basically is DMT, but a very simplified version that doesn't give you obviously all this extra help. And I'm not entirely certain exactly what settings they're using either. But it is they've basically ripped off this indicator, and they're charging a lot more for it. So just look out for that one. I think it's called Predictum or something. But yeah, if you check that out, that basically is DMT. It's a DMT indicator, and also it is a lot more expensive than this one, and also with their one, I don't know because I don't have it. I don't know if you actually get the actual script yourself for TradingView or how it works exactly or whatever. I don't know whether they're sending you the signals or what they do, but anyway, right, so that is now been covered. So right, what is going on in the Bitcoin price? Let's just lock these drawing tools before I start rearranging my chart. We are going to get rid of these now for the time being, these lines that we've got going. I mean, we're clearly below this level we're looking at. Yeah, and the upside level that we're looking at, that's gone too. So we'll clean that line up a bit. The falling wedge, right, that we had drawn. This is not. It's looking like we dropped out this falling wedge, right? One thing, step number one, and then it also looks like we're looking to back test it, maybe fake out in, test this horizontal, and then we're going to get rejected and come down. So we will leave this falling wedge on for the time being. But yeah, I mean, kind of, did it look better on the daily? Yeah, kind of looked better on the daily. So as you can see, we've dropped out of it. By look better, it means that obviously we've got all the candle bodies encapsulated in it on the daily rather than the 4 hour which had candle bodies below it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so we're looking like we dropped out. So what I would, we've got support here as well, horizontal support. So what I would propose would potentially happen here would be a back test. You guys know that I love my back test. I love my back test because that's how I know the big traders trade. They don't want to get caught in fake outs in big positions and then get absolutely slammed. So what they do is they wait for moves and then they wait for a back test, and when that back test starts to fail, then they pile in. And that is it's just a safer way to trade. Sometimes moves will just go and they'll miss the trade. Fair enough. But obviously there's times where you get faked out and then they get absolutely slammed, especially in Bitcoin. So back tests are basically a pro tip for trading, as in that's what basically pros do with large positions, because obviously they're going to especially struggle getting in, obviously, on a downward breakdown of a chart, because obviously the move is going down. Wait, I'm not saying this very clearly. They're going to struggle to get orders, big orders filled without a lot of slippage, when basically bids are getting pulled and we are, in this example, spiking down. Where they can get filled better is when we are coming back up to a back test and there's more people wanting to buy into their selling, because there's obviously, we're not in that cascading move down anymore, and it's kind of looking like we could potentially go back up. But what they do know is they're not necessarily then going to get, they're not as likely to get squeezed. Then also they're selling coming in, and then obviously selling from other pro traders, big traders, is basically going to force the market down. So that's kind of how they operate. It's just a safer way to trade. But yeah, like I said, so they're not going to get as much slippage, because obviously the price is, in essence, it's either flat or coming up, or not in as strong a momentum move down. So yeah, that's just something for you guys to think about how backtesting, the actual psychology, the actual trading behind it, because that's how you're gonna understand price action and trading a lot better, is by literally understanding the fact that these price moves are people doing things, they're traders doing things, they're setups, they're bots doing things, and the bots are only set up with obviously parameters that are basically gonna make money. So what is happening is the psychology behind it is that they can't basically trade the breakout because they'll get slippage. They don't want to get faked out with a big position, because then obviously you got to remember the flip side to getting faked out. Once the market then starts to fly back up, how much slippage are they going to have on a market that's then flying back up with no offers and everyone's buying it up again? They're going to get even more slippage. So they'll get slippage on the way down, slippage on the way up, and they're just going to get wrecked. So overall, they're better, even if they miss moves that move straight down, fair enough. But then that's fine. But then when they'll hit the back test, they're going to get better fills. It's less likely to then spike back up and mess them up. If it does, it's going to be easier for them to get less slippage, and then obviously, but it is more likely for it to come down. And yeah, so right, that done. Back test, understanding back test done. Right, so yeah, so what are we looking at? Basically, we've got this obviously this support zone around 9,000, which is looking pretty dicey. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm looking for a back test, and then we'll see how we react. If we do get up and close over 9,200 level, then I mean, by all means, we could be play out this zone and start to move our way up. If we close above 9,500, then I mean, we just got to lean back to an imminent imminent bullish move. But at the moment, it's the move, the trend is down. I keep saying this is my main area for me to fully invalidate this this basically, not, well, I say to fully invalidate a potential bullish move, but also to fully confirm this as all a topping formation, redistribution, and then we're going to go into a markdown phase. That will be this level breaking and holding under here. It doesn't mean we can't wick below here, especially on a daily basis. Trap people in, like we're talking about with the back testing, etc. But yeah, it doesn't mean we can't wick down, maybe even down. Maybe we can have a savage hunt down to like 8,000. But like we did on a lot of these occasions, we've got very aggressive wicks down. But it's, so when we start closing dailies below here, that's when the problem will arise. Not the problem, just when the confirmation that we are coming down just will be 100%. I mean, the market is already leaning towards a bearish bias within this area that we're currently in. So we obviously have got to be cognizant of that fact. But it's not game over yet. It's fully not game over yet for the bulls. I showed you gold yesterday. Oh god, it's going to be miles away. Maybe if I refresh this chart, it will take me to the actual not where I scrolled along to, and then we can kind of look at why we can look at sort of what I'm kind of talking about. Yeah, so we could still be looking at something like this, and this doesn't have to break out bullish or bearish. But all I'm saying is it doesn't matter that we invalidate this ascending triangle. If we still play out this range, we can still break up. It's not game over for us. So as long as we're holding this 8,600 within this box, it's not game over, which is why a daily closures below this box, it is game. It will basically pretty much on a high likelihood basis be game over, and we'll be looking at, realistically, we'll be looking at 7k minimum, and we just gotta hold our breaths, hold our breaths, and hope that is it. Hope we don't go down any further. So yeah, we've got a little bit more of it. Obviously we traded this little pattern here, so we'll delete that now. We don't need that anymore on our chart. Yeah, so at some point I'm pretty much gonna have to delete this. I mean, we could very likely, we've obviously got our falling wedge, which we're breaking out at the bottom of. We've also got this ascending triangle withdrawing, which we're potentially falling out the bottom of. We can backtest either of these. Obviously, it would make more sense to backtest the larger formation, which is this one, and that would be obviously around the 9,200 level. So 9,200. This is why it's critical. If we get back into this zone, back into this 9,200 zone and hold up here, we could be looking not so bad, and we've got a chance. We've got a chance of actually playing out the ascending triangle in a sense, even if we have to redraw it again. but yeah, we have got a chance. But if we come back and we get rejected from here, then yeah, I mean, I believe we will come down and test the bottom of the range, which again isn't the end of the road for certain. But yeah, we've then got this is decision point, and we've got to see what happenens. Obviously, stock markets, we're getting our lead from stock market. Stock market is a week over this weekend, so there is no surprise that we've been seeing weakness in Bitcoin. No surprise for anybody that is realizing this correlation. And in all fairness, I have now noticed in a few of the videos that I've watched of other crypto YouTubers, is that they're now clear as day, all saying it every video while we've been following stocks. I mean, obviously we've been saying it here for a long time, but yeah, now they're just coming out and obviously admitting it. But yeah, because it is apparently so, and just become more and more apparent to the point that you just can't ignore it. You can't ignore the fact we're just following stock markets. So when we talk about breaks below here, if we get a crash in the stock market, yeah, it's going to come. If we get a massive rally in the stock market, I fail to see that Bitcoin's not going to have a massive breakout of here and rally upwards. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're looking at. So we've covered a bit in this morning's video. We covered obviously the two formations. We covered what we have back, the psychology, the trading behaviors behind backtests. We've looked at the DMT and what the DMT is doing, not the range and stop. Oops, let's move down a bit. Not the range and stop, but what the DMT is doing. Yeah, that is pretty productive video for a Sunday morning. So yeah, that's it, guys. So yeah, remember, we just got to get about above 9,200 and hold above there for a potential move higher to around this 9,400-500. If we don't do that and we get rejected from this 9,200 level, if we get up to it, then it looks bad. It looks bad. I would obviously watch for the CME gap that we're gonna have if we don't get back up there. And yeah, I mean, this has to be an immediate target, really, that is going to be eyed up by a lot of traders. I mean, I have got out of all of my actual Bitcoin exposure, so I will be watching this level, and if we hold this level and start to move up, I'll be more than happy to get back into my Bitcoin exposure, basically the level I got out, on the way back up if we get back up here. So if we come down to here, we then consolidate, come back up, start trading and holding above 9,200 level, which is the level I got out, then happy days. I'll get back in. Do you know what I mean? And we'll see. We'll just see where it takes us at that point, because we'll be looking and potentially at least testing the top. Right, so that's it, guys. So remember, this is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own. Research, and I will speak to you guys soon.